to educate fellow OFWs regarding the investment opportunity, especially in the stock market and mutual funds.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so this will be a recorded interview, and it's going to be available in my blog. So the first question is, as the chairman and founder of COL Financial Group, what makes the COL Financial stand out, or the leading online stockbroker in the Philippines compared with other stockbroker companies? Can you please tell us an overview about the profile of the company and how many years you've been running the company?
Well, the company was created in 1999. So it was under the CDSEC Online.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 6 years before we were able to really launch it properly. I think the market at that time was we were just too early.
Okay.
And so 2005, we decided to start educating, giving seminars. And by 2006, we listed the company. So it was the first company, online company that was publicly listed. What we did was we did an IPO just to be able to build a brand, because it's very difficult to, because you have to remember, when you're talking about money, there's just a lot of competition, so a lot of scams also. And so that's really the major problem. So education for us is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we started with in January 2006. We started with about 270 customers, 72 customers.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're about 250,000 customers.
Wow.
The reason of the growth is basically education. We spend a lot of time, we give seminars 3, 4, 5 times a week, and just to teach basic, what we call the importance of financial literacy.
Wow.
So it's a long process. So we've been doing it for the last 2006 we listed, so about 12 years now, 11 years already, of building, giving education, trying to reach out to all these Filipinos that are interested, to the stock market investing is the way to go. So we always say that stocks over time outperform asset class. So we've been doing that for 11 years.
11 years. Wow. All right. So I understand that COL Financial is offering investment products such as stocks and mutual funds. And
Yes.
let's talk about stock market first. How does an OFW make money from stock market? Let's say I put 5,000. This might be a very basic question, but for the sake of our Filipino overseas Filipino workers, is it really possible to build wealth over time, even just probably a small amount of money?
Yes, I teach that. I called it the 3 basic law of money. The first law, of course, is that when you're making money, in your work or anything that you do, you need to know how to pay yourself. So the most important, the first basic law is that you need to pay yourself
Mm-hmm.
for your future. So it's so 5,000 pesos is because that's the amount we think that through time it will be worth a lot of money. So the second is that the problem is savings today is not enough. So it's called the rule of 72. If you're making only 1% a year in terms of your bank deposit, it will take you 72 years to double your money.
Oh.
So the second basic law is really you have to know where to put it, how to invest it. Now, the stock market is the easiest way to invest. It's because you can open an account for 5,000 pesos and start investing already. So buying all these good companies, let's say we call it the top 5 families, the Ayalas, the SM Group, the JG, the Gokongwei Group, the Aboitiz Group, and maybe the T family of the Metro Bank. So just on these 5 families alone, you can start doing an investment program. Through time, the average earnings compounded rate of return is about 10 to 12%. So just imagine that if you can allocate 5,000 pesos and do an investment program for the next 10 years,
Right.
there is no excuse for you not to become a millionaire. Very simple.
Wow.
yan. Very simple lang yan. No? So the thing is that when you start doing well, you should not spend it, which is the third law. No? Is that you have to let money work for you. That
Wow.
the dividends that you get every year, you have to reinvest it. So there are good times, bad times, you continue to deploy, to invest. Just doing a simple, basic investment program. You in 10 years, there is no excuse for you not to become a millionaire. Now. So simple lang yan. 5,000 pesos a month is 60,000. Then as you gain 10 to 12% return, in 10 years, it should be more than ₱1 million. So it's a very simple formula. The problem is, do you believe in it? Do you believe that you have to believe in the Philippine growth story? That the
Right.
Philippine growth story is about 10 to 12% compounded rate of return. So
Right.
most people would like to probably have a jackpot mentality wherein they're guaranteed that sometimes they're guaranteed that they can make 15, 20, 30%. But the
Right.
word guaranteed alone, you know that it's a scam already.
Right.
So people, the OFWs, the ordinary people really has to understand that there's no jackpot mentality in this business.
Yun.
You have to invest it through time. And 10 years, if you can put 5,000 pesos a month, automatically 10 years from today, you would you will be at least achieve your first million, and going forward can achieve your financial freedom.
Wow. So I guess the secret is commitment and discipline.
That's right. That's right. That's the most important. It's that's always our challenge. Sometimes you want to buy your gadget, di ba?
Right. Right.
And then you borrow money pa. That's the worst is that you borrow
Uh-huh.
money to buy the gadgets. No? In fact, I did an OFW tour the last 2015.
Okay.
And what I found out is that most of these workers that are, let's say, in Taiwan, they borrow money just to be able to go and have a placement. They have to pay, I think they have to borrow money to do a placement. No? And then when they're there, when they start getting their monthly pay already, they need to pay for their debt. No? And then at the same time, they would buy a gadget, and they would also go to borrowing. And what I found out is that they were borrowing at 7% per month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really ridiculous. I mean, if you pay 7% a month, even though how small it is, it still can compound to more than 120, 20, 50% a year in terms of their borrowing costs. So then I went to Hong Kong, and I had a seminar with all these OFW people also. And sabi ko, don't follow huwag mong gayahin yung mga workers dito sa Taiwan na paying 7%. Sabi, dito kami sa Hong Kong, 10%. Inutangan nila. So nakakatakot talaga yan. What they don't understand is that they really have to have that vision of not buying all those gadgets initially,
Yes.
and then just think of their future. That they need to set aside at least 10 or 20% of whatever they make for their retirement. No? Kasi kung hindi, they will really have a big problem. No? Kasi by that time, then they're old already, and probably they have to know how to take care of themselves, because or else, I mean, their children will probably have their own families. But kailangan maintindihan nila yan, because if they don't understand that, they will regret it when they get old.
Yes.
Problema.
Yeah, that's a big challenge for OFW.
Yes. So 3 basic law of money: you need to pay yourself to save. You need to know where to put it, investing, and then the third is reinvesting it so that we can benefit what we call the miracle of compounding.
Wow.
Let money works for you. Kailangan maintindihan nila yan. Simple lang yan. Simple lang yan.
Okay, so Chairman, another question is, I understand that COL Financial is also offering not just a stock market but also a mutual fund, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Can you give us just probably a gist about the mutual funds, and simply explain in a context where an ordinary OFW could easily understand?
What we did was we created a platform for all the major mutual fund companies to sell their product into to the COL platform. No? What we really it's a very simple. A mutual fund is basically a basket of stocks, no, that are managed by a third party, by a fund manager. Today, it's called passive. Just investing in a passive index fund.
Okay.
an equity index fund, it's so simple. You don't have to worry about individual issues, getting into trouble, and you're just buying the Philippine growth story. And by doing that alone, you would get your 10% compounded rate of return, because the Philippines is about just 10-12% money. So
Per
if you
year.
just invest in the stock market, in the mutual fund equity funds, you don't have the headache of worrying sometimes if some stocks will go down,
Okay.
because there will be a quarter or a year wherein they will have difficulties. No, now buying the basket, you're diversified. Just the equity fund, equity index fund, you'll be all right.
Wow, that's great. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so how will I know the best performing mutual fund company?
Yes,
There,
there's a if you go to the table, you would see that they have a fact sheet. There's a fact
okay,
sheet. So what you need to do is that you have to understand the fund manager, how they invest your money, and then what's the most important thing is that you're buying an index fund. You have to look at the expense ratio. So if the expense ratio is just too expensive, that means they will underperform. No? So
okay,
if you're buying a product, you really have to study it, look at it, the fund managers, how much they're charging per year, and then
okay.
the expense ratio.
The expense ratio.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
Next,
cheaper the expense, the better. No?
the cheaper the expense, the better.
Yes,
Obviously.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is this. I think this is a very common questions. Like a lot of OFWs probably wanted to invest in the stock market, but but for some reason we've heard people who are losing their money in the stocks.
Yes.
Since most investment instruments have certain level of risk, how do OFWs handle volatility, and what are the essential rules when it comes to investing or diversifying the portfolio?
Well, I think for the OFW, they just have to learn how to invest, have an investment program on all the an index fund. That's the easiest way. The challenge why 85% of the people lose money in the stock market is
Mm-hmm.
because they go into what we call active trading.
Mm-hmm.
From just passive investing to active trading. The problem is that when you're doing active trading, you have to know the rules of the game. There are rules for you to follow. No? So if you're actively buying and selling stocks, you run the risk of losing your capital, because you might buy a stock and it doesn't perform. It can go down 30, 50, 60%. And you can just by not understanding diversification, not understanding the fundamentals of the company, you can really lose a lot of money. You can probably make money initially, and
Okay.
when you count one stock that behave properly, and you can lose 30, 50%, and they can really lose their lifetime savings.
Oh,
So if you're going to active trading, you need to know the rules of the game. There are rules for you to follow. Now, active investing is a totally different way of approach of investing in the market. No? Uh, so if you're an OFW, you're just starting, you just have your 3 to 5,000 pesos that you can park on a monthly basis. I really suggest that they just focus on indexing mutual funds, index funds, and when they have time to learn how to become active investing or active trading, they
mm-hmm.
understand how
Mm-hmm.
to follow the rules of the game,
Right.
they know how to manage their risks. I think then
Uh-huh.
that's the time they should be more
Get involved.
actively involved. No? Or else I think it's really very dangerous, because
Uh-huh.
every time, short term, the volatility is there, and people can really lose a lot of money.
So
They can
you
really
we're
lose a lot.
okay. So we're actually looking forward for probably a long-term investment as another
It
way
should be
of
long-term investing,
should be
yes.
long-term. When you say long-term, it should be about how many years? 5 years, 10
Uh,
years?
yeah, I think when you talk about long-term, it's you really need to just stay invested. Just have this program, because you're only investing 10 to 20%
Right.
maximum of your
Right.
income, di ba? So
Uh-huh.
that 80% you can buy your real estate, your own personal real estate, it as a form of diversification in terms of asset allocation. But if you're investing in the stock market, the maximum is really just 20%. You do not want to do more than that because the stock market is very volatile and sometimes the market can drop 10, 20, 30, 50% in a year. So
Right.
if you don't understand how the game is played, you will really lose a lot of money because your lifetime savings will be gone 10, 20, 30%. Matatakot ka na talaga, di ba?
Yes, yes, yes.
So you have to look at it from a much longer term perspective now. That it is part of your investing for your future, no? For your retirement. No?
Right.
And you only use it when you really, really don't have any more money from your
Okay.
80%. Huh?
Uh-huh. So basically, it's education. Okay,
Great, yes.
not just putting money, your hard-earned money, in an investment instrument where you don't understand.
That's right, that's right.
All right. Question is how to spot the right companies. How do I choose the right stocks, and when should I sell them? In what ways the Truly Rich Club offers financial coaching, especially to the OFWs who are new to investing. Apparently, the question says like we need someone to help us. So the question is when we talks about buying and selling, spotting the right companies, who should help us?
Well, if you go to the COL Financial Research, no? We have our head of research, April Lee Tan, that
Okay.
basically comes out with his monthly stock recommendation. There's a buy below price and a target price. The Truly Rich Club also has their own stocks that they pick, guiding when you should be buying at what price, and then the target price when you should be selling it. So there are a few of these companies that offer those kind of services. But like I said a while ago, the easiest is just buying an index fund from the platform and then
Mhm.
just continue to just reinvesting it, no? Putting a small amount of money on a monthly basis. Look at it from a much longer perspective, and you'll be. It's a no-brainer. It's really a no-brainer.
Right, right. Yeah, I observed that because my portfolio, I try to diversify it. Like I put some certain amount in the stock market and another amount in the mutual funds, and I've seen growth in the mutual funds. So I guess it's pretty safer because someone is managing it. It's like there's a professional fund manager.
That's right. That's right.
Uh, Sir Edward, I know a friend, and they've been investing in the stock market, but for some reason, probably when they have no time to do the buy and sell, let's say they are in Dubai or in other countries, and they're working all day long, which means they have no time to buy stocks because by the time they get home, the market is already closed. I think, yeah, my brother is also in Korea, and he was asking me about pagdating ko sa bahay, pagod na, wala ng time. Paano po yun? Is there any technical support for BCOWs who wanted to buy stocks even when the
Well,
market is closed?
well, that's why the GTC is there for the mutual funds. Also, in our platform, you can put the GTC order, no, on all the stuff that you're buying. Or there's a schedule. You have an investment program schedule,
Okay.
which you can do automatic investing for you already on a certain date. No,
Okay.
uh, like I said, if you're a working class, you're spending most of your time in the office
Mhm.
or in the factories that you work with. I think the best way is just buying the index fund and just you can do it off market and you're in already. You can start and you can see the by following just the discipline of doing it, whether the market is up or down, just continuously just allocating a small amount of money. I think it the result will be very 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 good.
So for busy people, you recommend doing a mutual fund or index fund investing
That's right. That's right. That's all it is.
rather than the stock market, right?
Yes, yes. That's rather you don't pick stock chart. Because if you want to do that, there are, like I said, there are so many rules. First is you have to understand the fundamentals of the company.
Correct.
Second, you have to know how to time the market. Third, you have to understand the sentiment of the market. Then fourth is you have to know how to manage your risk. No? So trading is very, very, very
Complex.
difficult. It's not an easy profession, no? Because like us, we've been doing for so many years,
Yes.
and still we sometimes we make mistakes, no?
Right.
But when you make mistakes, we just We just what we call cut our losses, and then what we do is we let the profit run. No? So that's why the fund managers are there to help you, so that it will be much easier. The only thing is, of course, it's boring. Right? I mean, these things are so boring. So some people will like the excitement.
Yes.
So when you want to have that excitement, please you have to know the rules of the game. Main rules are like that.
Okay, that's very, very clear. Yeah, I bet all OFWs don't want to lose their hard-earned money. My question is the COL financial online platform secure? And I'm sure it's, how do you protect customers' information from possible hacking? I've been also doing an online banking, and from time to time, there is like a monthly change of password. And I noticed that before I've been investing a couple of years ago, and now there is like a prompt that says you have to change your password. Now the question is, how secure is the online platform, and how do you protect the customer's information from possible breach or hacking?
Well, we just disclosed that we had a breach about 2 weeks ago. No?
Okay.
So what we're doing now, we're trying to encrypt as much as we can, and we hired a third-party cybersecurity firm that just to make sure that the personal information is secure. We're also, from time to time, we're asking our customers the investors basically to change their password. No? So we have to strengthen. These are the things that we're learning. This is the nature of the beast. I mean, in an online platform, everybody they will try to hack you as much as they can.
Right.
And we just have to invest more of the infrastructure to make sure that it's secure. No? But let me just assure you,
Okay.
we do not pay through online. Meaning, if you want to withdraw your money, we still have to go to the traditional writing of a check and deposit it into your name. So that, as far as the money is concerned, it is secure. It is very secure, because if you want to withdraw money, we don't just transfer it online. We make sure we issue a check and deposit it into your bank account. So that is still the old fashioned. So we have made sure that is how we secure our customers' money. No?
Right.
Our customers' money.
So it's very secured kasi maraming mga cases in the past, even the banks actually. So may mga cases.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Because that's really the nature of the beast today. You have the world trying to hack you and trying to get all the data that's available. That's what it is. You have all this phishing, all these ATM cards being used, credit cards. It's just so many of these people trying to get money out of the system, out of the online platform.
So we have to be very vigilant and careful, because this is hard-earned money, and
I know.
OFWs are working for how many years?
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as money is concerned, it's really secure. It's not an issue for us.
Right.
Our problem is really it's really the information. How do you try to encrypt it so that for them, if they're able to hack you, it still will take a long time before they can manipulate it so that they can get the information. So encryption is a very should be the standard now.
Right. If an OFW would like to invest in the stock market and mutual funds, so what are the requirements he needs to prepare? Is there a specific amount that he needs to invest? Is there a withholding certain period of time?
What do you mean withholding?
Yeah. Meron bang withholding period ang stock market and mutual funds, like a time deposit where you need to put the money in the time deposit, probably 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years?
No. If you are investing in mutual funds and you're going to the fixed income side, you can withdraw anytime. I think there's a 3 days or 5 days now you can withdraw money. Now, if you're a mutual fund, you can buy and sell it automatically. The only thing is that there's an additional cost.
Oh.
But after some of the funds, after 60 days, you don't have to pay anything anymore. There's no exit clause. No, there's no exit cost.
Usually, how much is the cost for
1%? I think. Let's say, for example, if you invest in the mutual fund, and then
Right.
you want to early redemption,
Early redemption.
yeah, then you have to pay the 1%. But I think some of the funds are up to 60 days. When you do 60 days, you don't have to pay anything now.
Ah,
There's no
okay.
exit clause there.
So at least 60 days usually.
Yes, yes. Most of the funds are 60 days.
60 days, okay. So suppose I want to open an account with COL Financial. So what are the requirements that an OFW has to prepare?
I think you have to you go to our website and then how to open an account.
Yes.
And then what you need to do also is that we have videos that you can have access in YouTube, right? And then,
Right.
or you go to our Facebook, COL Financial. Everything is there. What are the requirements that's needed? It's complete, no? So you just have to open the video or open the Facebook account of
Okay.
COL, and then they can see it already. The
Everything's in the
procedure of
website.
opening. Yeah.
Okay, okay. The question is, how does the this is basically more on uh, the current situation in the Philippines. So how does the infrastructure project of the current administration would affect our economy, particularly the stock market? What is your fearless forecast about the Philippine economy? Should an investor get excited or be worried? I've heard that the current administration has the build programs.
Well, this is the first time that an administration is really gearing up to spend, which is the right thing, for any country. You have to build the infrastructure, because if you don't build the infrastructure, you know, the cost of commerce will become very, very expensive. As you make it more efficient, uh, the transport, it will basically create more wealth all over the Philippines, not only concentrated in the metropolis, no? Right? So,
Right.
so these are very, very important.
Uh-huh.
As you build infrastructure, then you have more employment, right?
Right.
So more people will really be benefiting.
Even
So
in the
I think the
provinces.
administration is doing the right thing. Of course, as you spend money, the deficit increases, but I think the result will be much, much better. No? Because let's say may cost yan, di ba? So you're borrowing, the government now is borrowing they will be spending 1 trillion, 2 trillion, or 3 trillion just to do all this infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So the initial, when you're building it, the traffic is terrible, right? But then it will benefit over the long term. Will really benefit. No? So if you're talking about 6.4, 6.5 GDP growth for the Philippines today,
Okay.
with the build, you can go up to 7.5% GDP growth. No? So when you do that, automatically the Philippines should be a very good place to invest your money.
Wow. Okay. So magandang opportunity sa mga OFW. So even if they are overseas, I mean, they can participate in the growing economy of the Philippines as long as they know how to do that.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Any piece of advice to OFWs about financial education and what they should be doing before making any financial decision?
I think the most important thing, not only to OFW but all Filipinos, no, is that they should have that discipline. No? That they
Okay.
should think about their future, and like I said, they have to know what I call the three basic law of money. No? That you need to save 10-20% of whatever you make, even though how small it is, it doesn't matter. You have to know where to invest it, and be careful about all these other investment scams,
Okay.
and then understand what we call the power of compounding. We say it's called the miracle of compounding. You need to reinvest your dividends or your interest, whatever you're getting, and then reinvest it, no? So that you can benefit what we call the power of compounding or the miracle of compounding. You have to learn it. Let money work for you.
So the idea is discipline, commitment, and financial education.
That's right. That's right.
Financial education. This can be done by attending seminars, going to COL office probably,
Yes, yes.
reading books, and
Yes, and then you could go to YouTube. There are a lot of videos right now to teach you how to do it properly.
wow.
Just go to the
So
COL videos, online videos, and you can see
uh-huh.
it already.
So
On their spare time, they can just go there and just try to understand it.
uh-huh. So there is no reason for an OFW not to invest because everything is online and you can see the informations in YouTube.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chairman Edward Lee. And just a side track lang po. How's your reading about the OMG book?
Yes, yes. The
Uh,
OMG. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I read it. Yes, very good.
How do you find reading po? Okay lang.
Very good, very good. This is basically very, the information is there to help all the OFW to be aware of all these scams, of what's happening to the world. And
Right.
hard-earned money should really be investing just in the Philippine growth story, and they'll be fine.
I try to
There's no
make sure.
shortcut lang. There's no shortcut
There's
in
no
this.
shortcut.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Chairman Edward Lee. Thank you for your time and sharing your wisdom. And I hope my readers and other OFWs would learn from this conversation.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much po. God bless you.
Okay. Okay. God bless. Thank you.